building a sustainable tomorrow. Connect, innovate, and prosper. Connecting goods to goods, region to region, people to people, generation to generation. Facilitating innovation for all, closing the digital divide. Building an inclusive technology ecosystem, promoting digital innovation by deepening dialogues on AI. Achieving shared prosperity, addressing global challenges. Energy transition, climate change, population decline, and pandemic responses. APEC-related events continuing in Seoul, the capital of the Republic of Korea, where diverse cultures blend. Jeju, the beautiful island, blessed with UNESCO Natural World Heritage Sites. Incheon, the vibrant international city, central hub connecting Asia-Pacific. Busan, the largest maritime city, centering around maritime trade and the logistics industry. And Gyeongju, the city hosting the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting, where 2,000 years of profound history and modern, trendy, and youthful energy blend in a perfect balance. Here, a new chapter of economic exchanges will unfold for a better future.
The moment we wear it, our spirits lift. It helps us grow strong in body and in mind. As we wear it, we learn patience and respect. The belt system motivates students to strive harder and continue growing. This uniform shapes movement into grace and turns performance into something thrilling. Now, embraced around the world, Taekwondo shares our culture, philosophy, and values with pride and spirit. Though it may seem simple, this uniform holds your passion and your journey. It belongs to Taekwondo. Wear the extraordinary. Be with Taekwondo.
Hello and thank you for tuning in to Arirang News on this Chuseok holiday. It's 6 p.m. here in Seoul on October 8th, and I'm Peunji. The European Union is moving to double tariffs on imported steel while slashing duty-free quotas. This is a move aimed at protecting its own industry, but could spell trouble for major exporters, including South Korea. Our Pyeongyang reports.
The European Union has announced plans to raise tariffs on imported steel to 50%, doubling the current rate and halve the current duty-free steel import quota.
A new import regime replacing the current safeguards that expires on the 30th of June 2026 will cut the tariff-free import quota by 47% from 33 million tons to 18.3 million tons. Introduce a prohibitive 50% out-of-quota tariff.
EU Executive Vice President Stéphane Séjourne stressed that the move is aimed at protecting the region's steel industry and preserving jobs, noting that 18,000 positions were lost last year. The new rule will apply to all countries that are not part of the European Economic Area, while individual country-specific quotas will be set through bilateral negotiations. The regulation will replace the existing steel safeguard, first introduced in 2018 to counter U.S. tariffs, which must end by June next year under World Trade Organization rules. The European Commission emphasized that it hopes to implement the measure as early as possible, potentially before the safeguard's scheduled expiration. For South Korea, the move raises serious concern. The EU is Korea's largest steel export market, with exports worth $4.4 billion last year, slightly higher than shipments to the United States. Korean steelmakers already fill their existing duty-free quotas to the limit, meaning any quota cuts would directly increase costs and threaten competitiveness. As a response, South Korea's Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy said on Wednesday it's still difficult to gauge the full impact, but acknowledged that the overall quota cut is likely to have a considerable effect on Korean exporters. Trade Minister Yeo Han-gu will soon meet with the EU Trade Commissioner to convey Korea's concerns, pledging to engage in active bilateral negotiations to safeguard the interest of Korean companies. Pyeongyang, Arirang News.
The World Trade Organization has sharply lowered its forecast for global trade volume growth to 0.5% for next year, citing the impact of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. The revision marks a significant downgrade from its previous estimate in August of 1.8% growth. The WTO Director General told reporters in Geneva on Tuesday local time that the outlook for next year is bleaker as tariff measures weigh on trade. But for this year, the organization raised its forecast for global trade volume growth to 2.4%, up from its previous estimate of 0.9%, mainly due to the front-loading of imports into the United States ahead of tariff hikes and a surge in purchases of goods related to artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, North Korea is expected to hold a military parade this week as early as tomorrow, joined by senior officials from China and Russia. Chinese Premier Li Chang, the country's second highest-ranking official, is expected to attend, while Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, will also likely be there. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is widely expected to stand alongside these officials during the parade in Pyongyang in a show of solidarity. This could mirror China's military parade in Beijing last month, where Kim, Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin stood side by side. North Korea typically holds military parades either on the day of an anniversary or the evening before. The regime marks the 80th founding anniversary of its ruling party on Friday. But with rain forecast for Pyongyang that day, this year's parade could take place a day earlier on the 9th. The North last held a military parade 2 years ago in September 2023. A senior Pentagon official has said that South Korea's defense capabilities could help deter China, while highlighting that the U.S. defense strategy should focus on addressing the military threat posed by the Asian superpower. John No, the U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of War for East Asia, who's been nominated to serve as the Assistant Secretary for Indo-Pacific Security Affairs, made the comments on Tuesday local time in written responses to questions from the Senate Committee on Armed Services. Those said while South Korea should focus primarily on leading Seoul and Washington's conventional deterrence against North Korea, many of its capabilities could also contribute to deterring China. He specifically pointed to long-range fires, integrated air and missile defense, space, and electronic warfare capabilities as areas that could have a meaningful impact. His comments come amid reports that the Trump administration's forthcoming national defense strategy will focus more on homeland defense rather than countering China. Now, on the cultural front, South Korea's Jeollanam-do Province is hosting the first international Sumuk Biennale showcasing the traditional East Asian art form. Our Cha Eun-kyung tells us more.
The International Sumuk Biennale is being held in the city of Mokpo and counties of Jindo and Haenam in Jeollanam-do Province until the end of October. Sumuk is a traditional East Asian art form that uses shades of black ink on absorbent surfaces. Exhibitions showcase various transformations of ink wash painting, which is eco-friendly as it uses water-soluble natural material. And Jeollanam-do Province is also opening an exhibition hall to promote Sumuk all over the world. The province will invest 42 billion Korean won, around $30 million into building a Sumuk Art Center. The center will be open in 2028 in Mokpo.
Sumuk expresses the universe with the beauty of Korea. Sumuk is the next leader of K-content. Jeollanam-do Province will lead the way.
Once the Sumuk Art Center opens, Jeollanam-do Province hopes to be a cultural hub where people can enjoy literature, folk songs, poems, and drawings in one place. Cha Eun-kyung, Arirang News.
Over in South America, as anti-government protests intensify across Ecuador, South Korea's foreign ministry has issued a special travel advisory for the nation. Effective from 3 p.m. Wednesday, the measure keeps existing alerts in place, including level 2 and 3 warnings for several provinces, while extending a special advisory to all remaining regions. The ministry also urged Korean citizens to cancel or postpone non-essential travel and to exercise caution if already in the country. Mass demonstrations, now entering their third week, have been led by the Confederation of Indigenous Nationalities of Ecuador, protesting the government's plan to phase out fuel subsidies. Now that's all we have for today. Arirang News will be back tomorrow at noon Korea time. Thanks for watching.